What is it like trying to bank with Chase Bank and still grow with Chase Bank while having bad credit? How do you navigate that banking relationship, hold on to it, and redevelop your finances while putting yourself in the best position with Chase Bank to still get access to the best products and services they have to offer, get access to capital from them at the best rates and terms possible? Let me tell you right out of the gate, it's a process. At one point in time, probably at the time of this recording, somewhere around 7 to 8 years ago, I had relatively bad credit. I went through a particular hardship in my life, a phase in my life for about 2 years where I defaulted on almost every debt obligation I had, nearly 6 figures in debt. And I had a banking relationship with Chase Bank. Every single financial institution has risk tolerance. They have certain people who have financial challenges that they're going to do business with, that they're going to be comfortable with, and they're going to have some they are not. Very important to understand the financial institutions you're investing your time and money in with, their risk tolerance, understanding who they have a preference or a comfort to lend to versus who they may not. Chase Bank is a good example of a financial institution that is not favorable to those with bad credit. You could be literally a poorly documented immigrant, migrant to this country, go over to Chase Bank with a passport and some kind of secondary form of verification, start a deposit relationship, and potentially walk out of there, if you have an ITN or a workers authorization social, and potentially walk out of there approved for a credit card faster and at a higher percentage chance than a fully documented native-born American that has poor credit and relatively recent negative items on their credit report. Crazy, but the reality of it. Chase Bank's risk tolerance is not favorable to those who have shown negative banking or credit behavior in the past, in the recent past, especially within their institution. They hold on to it for a very long time. So how do you approach not scrapping or throwing away that banking relationship and still getting your finances revamped or rebuilt so you can move forward with the business, move forward with your solopreneurship, or just move forward with your personal finances as a regular everyday person, getting the best from one of the best institutions on the planet? You're going to have to start navigating secondary banking relationships that will be more favorable to you with bad credit. They exist. Navy Federal is a very prominent, more popular one that people know about that is very, very welcoming on average and accepting to those with negative credit. There's a ton of data points showing that Navy Federal will work with you if you have less than favorable or outright bad credit. I'm telling you from experience as well, because Navy Federal is one of the major institutions I gravitated my relationship to, a part of it, while staying with Chase Bank to start growing my finances back out. Navy Federal was one of the only institutions that gave me a shot with a credit card and an overall banking relationship while having moderately recent negative items on my credit report. They're just a good example. So you want to find, typically going to be credit unions, smaller local banks, small regional banks that are going to typically have business models that are a little bit more favorable towards those who may have challenged credit and challenged finances. You want to find one of those institutions because they also tend to be institutions that aren't as demanding for the banking relationship, meaning that their checking and deposits requirements and savings requirements are not as strenuous and as deep as a Chase Bank might be, where you have to have thousands of dollars with them to keep from getting service fees and things of that nature. So they're easier to maintain banking relationships. The second reason you want to go that route is because they are much more likely to have credit rebuilding products. Infamous pledge loan, secured credit cards, secured loans, secured savings accounts, savings and CD secured accounts. These are the kind of accounts you can use to rebuild your finances. Personally speaking, I am not a fan of credit repair. The money and times it takes and the risk you're taking trying to find a legitimate, effective credit repair company that is ethical is an extremely risky business. So it is very important, again, not to scrap or abandon a relationship, but you're going to start to have to deviate to institutions that'll be more tolerant to your situation at the time. Keep whatever you can afford to keep going with Chase Bank and concentrate everything else into at least one or two other financial institutions, and maybe some of these reliable internet-based fintechs, the Self, Inks, Chimes, things like that. If you need to go that route to rebuild, cool, do your due diligence. Try to build with brick and mortar institutions because, again, you'll be able to build out full relationships with them when the Chase Banks of the world might not want to do business with you yet. You want to want somewhere you can get an auto loan, you can get a decent high-yield savings account, a CD, and get a secure credit card at the same time. None of these fintechs have that infrastructure going right now. Traditional banks are still a way to go. So what I recommend is if you're a small business owner and you have bad credit and you're just really salivating at the idea of getting your hands-on business credit for your business. Just keep that relationship going. Chase Bank is extremely favorable once you have the financials to bank with them properly. So what I would recommend in a recap, banking with Chase Bank with bad credit is still possible. They're just not gonna give you very much in the process. You probably won't get approved for hardly any of their credit products, but it's possible to get a small savings account with them. Keep a couple to a few $100 in there. If you can, run a small direct deposit through there just to keep activity going and giving them positive behavior to lean on. Chase Bank will definitely let you know when they're starting to feel comfortable enough to start potentially lending to you or offering you ancillary benefits and services. And at that point in time, you can jump on that. But in the meantime, do your due diligence, start small banking relationships, effective banking relationships, and strategic ones outside of Chase Bank while keeping the pulse alive at Chase Bank. I'll be completely honest with you, time flies a lot smoother and things come out better when you take hard-earned money that you're already sitting on and don't have a ton of it to toss around, playing around with credit repair companies, put it into something that will give you guaranteed results. What is guaranteed results? Again, CDs, savings, secure products, building good data points on deposit relationships, because relationship banking is real. And again, let that time work in your favor. Build up as many data points as you can. If you have late payments, the best way to eliminate or at least reduce the impact of late payments is time, but number two is going to be having a bunch of positive payments reporting on top of those late payments. So again, I've said this in many videos before. If you have 5 late payments and you only have 50 total payments on your credit report, that's 10% of your payment history showing negative payment history. You're gonna be well below the threshold of at least being reasonable or fair in your payment history category on your credit score. If you have 5 late payments and you have 500, that's only 1%. You see the difference? It's a percentage. So play the game to your favor. Okay, yeah, I have a few late payments on here. Chase Bank may have an auto denial option in their algorithm that, you know, if I have late payments, they're gonna be unforgiving about that, but I can at least improve my FICO scores, my Vantage scores, etc. by playing a percentage game by having a bunch more payments of positive history reporting on top of the late payments that I may have had in the past. So comment down below. Let me know if you are in a bind with your credit, if you either have poor credit, if you've been through some hardships in the relatively recent past, and you're still banking with Chase Bank. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any experience about this that you can share, that you know, some valuable data points you can put on top of what I put in this video. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. Continue to support the channel so the channel can keep supporting you. I want each of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.